Hello YouTube, I'm Andrew Does Hair. You can find my work on Instagram at Andrew Does Hair. A few years ago I did a video, kind of a quick afterthought. It wasn't even like anything I planned. I just put up a camera and happened to record one of my clients getting his hair blow dried. And then I did a quick voiceover talking about what I was doing. That video happened to be, to this day, my most viewed video ever. And one of the top comments that I get in that video is, well, the wind is just gonna ruin this. And so I wanted to address that kind of concept, like the wind is going to ruin your hair. I totally get it. I mean, obviously that's a thing. We all know that that can happen. But at the same time, that doesn't have to be true. Your hair can absolutely be windproof. This isn't going to be a video about like how to make your hair windproof, but more so what goes into those kinds of haircuts that you see that just work even when they fall apart, even when the wind blows. Let's think about this. You look at George McFly, and there was a couple scenes where they deliberately disheveled his hair to make him look like a goofy loser who doesn't have his stuff together. But we can find pictures of Brad Pitt with almost the exact same haircut, minus the little bit of the fade there. But you can see in these two pictures, the loose hair hanging out of place is coming from almost the exact same point on the head. However, they have very different looks. And one might just say, hey, well, that's because he looks like Brad Pitt. If you look like Brad Pitt, you can do anything. If you are a hairdresser and that's your response, you should quit doing hair because everybody has the capacity to have cool hair. They just have to do the right things. So here's the biggest thing that goes into a hairstyle like that. That can just work no matter how the wind blows or like if you get wet. Like both these heads just have water in them and no product. How do you get a haircut that just works all the time? You get out of the pool and you shake your head around and the hair just works, you know? And really what it comes down to is not an easy answer. The easy answer would be like, oh, use this product and your hair will always bounce back perfectly. If it was that simple, I could get up here and lie to you and sell some product. But what it comes down to is a better haircut. And, you know, the blow dry can help to make your hair do a specific thing for that day. But as far as having hair that is windproof and waterproof and will just style itself repeatedly, that comes down to having a better haircut. You see, for years I've been saying good hair doesn't come from a jar and like you got to blow dry your hair. And I was putting all this importance through the screen here on learning how to use a hair dryer to make your hair cooperate. And the reason I did that instead of just saying, well, get a better haircut, which is essentially what I'm saying today, is how does that help you through a screen? It doesn't. But I want to address, you know, some people might be watching this saying, well, how can a haircut cause that? How can a haircut create that? I like to think of haircuts in really two different schools, two different camps. And this is something I'll run by my clients oftentimes during our consultations. A very common thing I'll ask them. If they said something like, I want my hair to be easy, which is most people, they want their hair to be easy. I would ask them, do you want it to do the same thing every day and easily do that same thing every day? Or do you want it to be easy in a sense that even if you do nothing to it, it'll kind of look good all the time? Those are two very different things. We have two very different heads here for that purpose. Now, I didn't cut either of these heads for this video. They are obviously two very different haircuts. I don't know if you could tell yet, with them slicked back as they are. And so it's not like this is two versions of the same haircut. They're two very different haircuts, but these are just heads that I happen to have laying around that both happen to fit into one of these two camps. So this is my left, so you're right. On this side here, we have a head that's cut very short on the short side of the part, and it's left longer on the long side of the part. With a haircut like this, it's very easy to just take everything long and comb it over. Now you have very easy hair that does the same thing every day. But this is not windproof. If I take this and I shake it around, and the hair does that, that doesn't look cool. That doesn't look like a happy accident. That looks like a disheveled doofus. Because the hair was not designed to move. The hair was designed to do this every day. And sure, look how easy that is. Now you have easy hair, but it's not windproof hair. If you want to shellac it with hairspray, it can be windproof. Now on the flip side, this haircut is much longer, and the way that it was cut, nothing's disconnected from anything else. On this haircut, it goes from very short to very long, and then there's a clear distinction where the hair has to go one way or the other, and if it doesn't do that, then it looks like George McFly with the off parting. But on this haircut, everything is connected and everything is very geometric and shaped just right so that the hair falls in cascades deliberately. This haircut, totally coincidence, happens to be very similar to Brad Pitt's haircut from the photo I showed earlier. Now, if I were to take this haircut and shake it around, and whip the hair back, we'll see that it kind of falls to a little bit of a pleasing shape. It's not absolutely perfect, but very easily you could run your fingers back like this and oh, now you're Brad Pitt. You got the one little hair out of place there. Very little effort to make this thing just kind of fall into place here. Now this is not a perfect haircut, mind you. I did this quickly for a reel. I haven't refined it yet or texturized it or anything. This is kind of just the base idea. But if you look at a haircut like this, if I decide I want to part it over here, it can do that. But if I decide I want to part it over here, it can also do that. A haircut like this can kind of go anywhere, and when the hairs fall out of place, it can look like a happy accident. So if the wind blows, you run your fingers through it, sure, it might look disheveled, but it's kind of the difference between disheveled by accident because you're a goober like George McFly and disheveled like Brad Pitt. It's literally just the design of the haircut being set up in a way that if this hair goes here, it works. If this hair goes here, it works. If this hair goes here, it works. I mean, if I took this hair and I blow-dried it straight up like a pompadour, it would work. This head, I don't know if it's been permed or if it just came out of the factory curly, but this hair actually has some curl to it. When it air dries, it's very curly. A haircut like this, you can air dry it curly and it looks great. Haircut like this air dries curly and it looks like a lopsided afro. A haircut like this one, you can blow dry it straight if you want to. You can half blow dry it and leave it wavy if you want to. A haircut like this is super duper versatile and therefore makes it easy because when the wind blows, you can run your fingers through it and it doesn't look bad anymore. But a haircut like this is super duper easy because if you just load it up with gel and you go like this, you don't have to worry about too much. So I hope this kind of made sense. There's easy hair in the sense of it only does one thing and we can make it do that very easily, but if it does anything but that one thing, you're gonna have problems. And I think I see a lot of haircuts like that. I do a lot of haircuts like that. It's not wrong or bad to do that, but it's an option. And it's not the same thing as here's a haircut that you can wake up, throw water in it, push it back and let it air dry. Very different thing. Both can be very easy, but different kinds of easy. And one of them happens to be windproof.